Good morning, it's the Big JB on Wednesday, and apparently they are doing maintenance on the grounds. So if you hear the buzzing of the leaf blower in the background, that's what that is. But hey, I have always said that I will record this, try to record it every morning where I'm at, and hopefully it's not too distracting. I want to give a couple shout outs to people, but first, I want to circle back to something I talked about a little while ago before I do my geeking out. I think I just really changed the lighting because I put my finger up in front of my nose. This is one of those hard times with the lighting. So, like this, like that. No, it didn't change that time. Okay. I talked a little while ago about the words that we speak. And I listened to something this morning, and I thought that it was really good. Where was it? It's in the Bible, and yes, I'm looking in the Bible, and yes, I carry one with me. And it's in chapter 12 of Proverbs. Some of you are thinking, what kind of crazy person carries a Bible? Well, the kind of crazy person who actually tries to live life by the Bible. Go figure. I can't find it now. It's not in my Bible. Well, it says this translation, if anybody cares, is the New Living Translation. It's chapter 12, verse 18 of Proverbs. It says, "Some people make cutting remarks, but the word of the wise bring healing." In a different translation, in the New International Version, it basically says that reckless words basically do damage or do harm, but the words of the wise bring healing. And I thought that was very interesting, given the fact that I just recently talked about it, that if we speak recklessly about things that can actually hurt, but the words of the wise are healing. And sometimes, that's just being nice to somebody, just saying something kind. The very positive and kind feedback that I've received from people through this morning thunder has been awesome, and very, healing almost sounds, I don't know, it sounds a little out there for me, but it really, in the concept, is definitely true. It's been very good for me. So I guess in that way, it has been healing. So that's it. I am about to launch into some World of Warcraft geekery. And so if you are not into World of Warcraft and or you don't care, you are welcome to end the video. And I thank you for watching this far. So World of Warcraft, last night I ran through an instance, a dungeon. For those of you who don't play, an instance is essentially is a dungeon, a series of quests, like a little adventure that you go on with a group of friends. And when you enter, the reason why it's called an instance is because it is an instance of that dungeon, and it's just for your 5 people that you run through. It's a specific one. Nobody else is in there except the 5 of you. Or if you're doing a raid, 10 people or 25. So those are the group sizes that run through different events. So there used to be 40, and I never participated in a 40-man, but that I'm sure that those times were insane. Anyway, so we ran through an instance of some dungeons. I'm playing with my highest level character, my favorite, my main, as they're called. And just for those people who ran through last night, this is in fact the guy who plays Jox. Now, you might listen to that name and go, that's kind of similar to your first name. Yes, it is. I did not realize that when I created it. The character's name that I came up with was Jox Finehoof. And during the Friends and Family Alpha, which I played in of Vanilla WoW, the very first one, you were able to capitalize other parts of your name. So I did J-O-X, capital J, O-X, capital F, and then the rest of Finehoof. I can't do that anymore, so I just went with Jox, and it wasn't taken on my server. When I created the name, I did not intend it to be a permutation of my first name. I just was thinking of a word that had ox in it. That would sound really cool, and Jox is what I came up with. So there you go. So I want to give a shout out to Liliel, Briar Moss, Rick, because I can't remember your full username right now. And I sell in the people who, cranks. So this is just to confirm that I do, in fact, run this channel. And we had a conversation in our guild chat that I look like Robert Downey Jr. and or Tony Stark, and even sound like him, and some of my mannerisms are the same. And so yes, when people compliment me on things, compliment me. I consider it a compliment when people say that, because a lot of people think that Robert Downey Jr. is pretty darn attractive, so hey, I'll take it. I've said that many times before, I'm sure, in these videos. But I'll be at a party. I was at a party not that long ago, actually, well, it was a couple months ago now, and somebody finally made a comment. I hadn't heard anything throughout the rest of the party about it, and somebody finally made a comment about me being Tony Stark, or who's watching over the factory. I think that was it. Who's watching over the factory tonight? And I was like, factory? It was like, yeah, well, if you're not at Stark Industries, who's watching over it? And I was like, aha. So I wondered how long it would take. He's, oh, we've been talking about it the whole party behind your back. So, and he said, really? Dude, it's uncanny. So I always found that pretty funny. And so I've got my Horde shirt on, representing, because I wanted to do my shout out. And I enjoyed running that instance last night immensely. I want to run the other two that are connected. They're all part of the current endgame story. For those of you who are still watching and don't play WoW, there is a story going on with kind of the big baddie for this expansion. And these are all things that lead up to the taking down of that bad guy. And maybe one day I'll get to play that. I still haven't taken down the bad guys from some of the other stuff that have come out before. So be interesting to finally get to enjoy some of that end content. And we're a mere 2 weeks away, ladies and gentlemen, from the release of Mists of Pandaria. And I cannot believe it. 2 weeks. I am getting 2 days off, the day of release and the day after, because I know that the day of release is going to be nutso, and that there's going to be server restarts, problems logging on. There's going to be all kinds of that stuff, because that's what happens when an expansion comes out. But you can bet that I'll be playing, and that I'll be playing a Panda Monk. And who isn't going to try a Panda Monk, except for maybe Zavi from our, or Javi, I suppose, is how she would pronounce it. Anyway, she might not play a panda because she doesn't really like the Pandaren being involved. But hey, I love pandas, and for a long time have been known as Angry Panda. In fact, on TF2, Team Fortress 2, and on Steam in general, that's my moniker, Angry Panda, and I've been that forever. And if you play Steam and want to add me on the PC, my Steam ID is Roast Turducken. I created that ID after I had taken a trip and had Roast Turducken for the first time, and I didn't realize that you couldn't change your Steam ID after you made it. So that's how it came to be. All right, there we go. Plugging away at 8 minutes. This video will probably end up being about 10 minutes, I expect, so I'd better go. Everybody have an awesome Wednesday. I'll see you tomorrow. This has been TheBigJB. You can follow me on Twitter at VoiceOfTheBigJB. I will see everyone tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Bye-bye.